Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to Learn to Read Quran. So as promised we are moving on with our surahs through the Quran and we're working backwards. So we started with the final surah of the Quran last time. We did Surah An-Nas. So that means today we are doing Surah Al-Falaq. And we know now that before we start reciting Quran, we must recite the isti'adha. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And let's get straight in here. We have on line 1. Bismillah Rahim. And you know by now that we're stopping with a sukoon and we ignore the last vowel. In this case, it's the kasra on the basmalah. So we've done the A'udhu Billahi Min Shaitan Rajim, which is the Isti'adha. We've done the Basmalah, which is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And here we are on the first ayah of the surah. We have قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Okay, so I'm going to explain how I've recited that. First of all, the qaf, nice and thick and heavy, joining to the lam, which isn't thick and heavy, it's light. The hamza, a nice sharp noise for the hamza. The ayn has a 2-count stretch because of the waw, and the dal with the short damma. Then we have the ba with the kasra. The ra is thick and heavy because it has the fatha here. Joining to the ba with the shadda. Give time to this ba. So rab, yeah, you've got the first ba in there. Rabbi as you come off, but the kasra is joining to the lam. You ignore the hamza to wasl. So we have bi rabbil, and then I have the fa with the fatha, lam with the fatha. And because I am joining, why am I joining? Well, because of our rule of stopping, the last letter gets a sukoon. That's the qaf. I'm ignoring the kasra. And we should have remembered, inshallah, that when a qaf has a sukoon, you get the qalqala. So this is why you've got the qalqala at the end on the qaf. You've got bi rabbil falaq. You've got the bounce back. And you'll find that every single ayah ends with a bouncy qalqala letter in this surah. So we'll carry on, and we're on line number 3. This is ayah number 2. Min sharri ma khalaqa. Again, let's explain what we've done. Well, the meme had a kasra, but the noon here has nothing on. So quick recap for our noon with nothing on rules. We look at the next letter. Is the next letter a letter with a shadda? No. Is the next letter a waw or a ya? No, it's not. It's a sheen. So we are going to hold the ghunna, and that's how we read it. We said min. Then we carry on. Sharri. The sheen is joining to the ra. The ra has a kasra, so the ra is light. Then the meme has a 2-count stretch because of the fatha with the alif. The kha is thick and heavy. The lam with the fatha joins to the qaf, and it's as if it's got a sukoon, not the fatha that's there, and that's why we get the bounce back. So the whole of that ayah, min sharri ma khalaqa. Okay, let's carry on. We will go to our next ayah. We're here on ayah number 3, line 4. Wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. Okay, so let me explain how we read this. The waw with the fatha, pretty simple. Meme with the kasra, but the noon here with nothing on It's a similar scenario. There's no letter after it that has a shadda, or neither is it a waw or a ya. So here on the noon, we hold the ghunna. We have wa min, then we have sharri. That's easy because that was in the previous ayah as well. So the sheen is joined to the ra. The ra is light because of the kasra. Then we have a ghain, which is thick and heavy, and it has a 2 count stretch because of the alif. So the whole of that 2 count stretch is thick and heavy. We have gha, si, qin. The qaf has 2 stacked kesras. So because they're stacked, it means I read it as I see it, and I don't need to look and see what letter comes next. I will not be holding the ghunna. I just say it clearly. I, the 2 count stretch here because of the fatha with the alif after it. Wa, the qaf is thick and heavy, don't forget that. Qab. Why do I get the qalqala? Because I'm putting a sukoon, ignoring the fatha, and ba with a sukoon gets a qalqala. Okay, let's carry on. We have ayah number 4 on line 5. Wa min sharri. But look ahead. Can you see? We have something we need to join. So let's start again. Wa min sharrin naffathati fil uqad. Wow, there's a lot going on here. I'm actually going to rub out these markings so that we can go through this again and see what's happening. And the most difficult word actually came in the middle. I think you all recognize that because there was lots of joining going on. Let's have a look. So we've got wa min. That was easy because that's been happening for the last few ayahs. Then we have the sheen joining to the ra. Okay, not an issue there because again that's happened for the last couple of ayahs as well. Sharri. But where do we go with that noise here from the ra? We go to the noon. Why do we go to the noon? Well, the hamza to wasl we ignore, the lam we ignore because it has nothing on it. So the ra with the kasra goes over to the noon with the shadda. So we have sharrin, noon with shadda. Always hold the ghunna. But then we have a fa with a shadda. So after we have resounded out, we've sounded out the ghunna, then we need to join to the fa. So let's take it from the beginning again. We have wa min sharrin naf. The noon joins to the fa. Once you've given the first fa in that shadda enough time to hear all the air that comes through the fa, then you use the fatha. So sharrin naffa. This gets a 2 count stretch because after the fatha you had the little tiny hanging alif. Then you've got a tha with a fatha and an alif, so this also gets a 2 count stretch. So thati. The fa here with the kasra join over to the lam, ignore the hamza to wasl. Fil uqad. And again, we're ignoring the last vowel. We're putting the sukoon on, so we get the bounce back on the dal with the sukoon. Okay. Last ayah, everybody. Line 6. Wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. That one's pretty simple after we did the previous ayah, which was a little bit more complicated, but let's have a look anyway. We have wa min. We're holding the ghunna, and we know that now because the next word doesn't have a letter. The next letter is not a waw or a ya. It is not a letter with a shadda to join to, so we will hold the ghunna on the noon with nothing on. The sheen is joining to the ra. The ra is light because of the kasra, so sharri. Then we have ha. Now this is a deep, not deep, this is a breathy ha. It comes from the middle of the throat And because there is an alif after the fatha, we get the 2 count stretch. So din. The dal has 2 stacked kasras. So we just read it as we see it. We don't need to hold the ghunna. We won't be looking to see what letter comes next. I, the dal has a fatha with an alif, so we get the 2 count stretch. Ha, again, that nice breathy one. Sad, we put the sukoon on, we ignore the fatha, and so we get the bounce back on the dal. So that, everybody, is Surah Al-Falaq from the beginning with the Basmala all the way through, and I've gone through as meticulously and as carefully as you need to be able to read this accurately. So give me a second, I will rub all this out and then I'll recite it for you fluently, inshallah. So here we have that nice clean page. I've rubbed everything out and I will recite this in a more fluent style. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. That's the isti'adha. Obviously, it's not written here. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. Good. So there we go. We have done Surah Al-Falaq, and inshallah next time's class we will move it on with our surahs and we will keep on working back through the Quran. So looking forward to seeing you next time. Keep on practicing. Assalamu alaikum.